Have you ever gotten a confirmation email from a Spanish-speaking country, stared at the date, and felt that little jolt of panic? Yeah, you're not alone. Getting dates wrong can be a huge headache. So in this explainer, we're going to completely demystify the Spanish date system so you can navigate it with total confidence.
And this right here, this is the heart of the problem, isn't it? Is this date in April or is it in August? Answering that one wrong could mean you miss a flight, a super important meeting, or you show up for a dinner reservation a whole month early. This little bit of ambiguity is exactly what we are here to solve for good.
So here's the crucial thing to realize. The Spanish format, with the day first, it isn't just a Spanish thing. It's pretty much the global standard. The US month first system is actually the outlier here. And the logic is really simple and kind of elegant when you think about it. It just moves from the smallest unit of time, the day, to the largest, the year. Day, month, year. Makes sense, right?
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the most important rule, order. Then we'll cover how to write the date, how to say it, think a little bigger about timeframes, and then we'll wrap up by making sure we avoid those common mistakes.
All right, let's dive into section 1, first things first. Seriously, if you can master this one single rule about order, you have already won 90% of the battle. This is it. This is the golden rule. Whether you're writing it down or saying it out loud, the day always, and I mean always, comes before the month. It doesn't matter if you're in Spain, Mexico, Argentina, anywhere. It's day, then month, then year. If you can burn this into your memory, you're set.
And here you can see exactly what that looks like in practice. Let's take that last example, 04/12/1917. Now in Spanish, that's clearly the 4th of December. But if you or I saw that in the States, we'd immediately think April 12th. See? The numbers are identical, but the order completely flips the meaning. This is why that one rule, day before month, is so critical.
Okay, on to section 2, how to write the date. Now that we've got the order down, let's look at the specific ways you actually put it on paper. So, you've basically got two main options. The all-numeral format is super quick and common for everyday stuff. But the more formal way, the one you'd use in letters or official documents, looks like this: 16 de enero de 2025. And notice that little word de, it means of. It is absolutely required. You can't just say 16 enero, it has to be 16 de enero de enero. And here are a couple of little details that are really easy to miss but make a big difference. First, unlike in English, the names of the months are not capitalized in Spanish, unless, they start a sentence. So it's always lowercase enero. Second, you've got some flexibility with the punctuation. Slashes, dashes, periods, they're all totally fine. All right, section 3, how to say the date. Writing it is one thing, but saying it with confidence has its own little rhythm and its own set of rules. The spoken formula is actually beautifully simple. You just start with the article el, then say the number for the day, then day plus the month. So, January 16th becomes el 16 de enero. And if you need to add the year, you just tack on another day and say the year. Super simple. And hey, if you're talking about the current year, most of the time, you can just leave that part off. Now, this is another huge difference from English that you've got to know. We say things like second, third, 15th. Spanish doesn't do that. It just uses the normal counting numbers, the cardinal numbers, dos, tres, quince. The only time you use an ordinal number is for the very first day of the month. You say el primero de enero for January 1st, but for every single other day, it's just the plain old number.
Okay, section 4. Let's zoom out a little and talk about bigger time frames, years, decades, and centuries. A few more interesting little differences pop up here.
In English, we kind of cheat with years, right? We say 1984. Well, you cannot do that in Spanish. You have to say the full number, 1984. It might feel a little formal at first, but trust me, it's the only correct way to say it.
So, what if you want to talk about a decade, like the 70s? You'd say los años 70. What you absolutely do not do is use an apostrophe, like 70s. That's just an imitation of English grammar, and it's totally incorrect in Spanish.
And for centuries, Spanish uses Roman numerals, so the 20th century is written as siglo XX. But here's the twist. When you say it, you use a cardinal number, not an ordinal one. So you'd read siglo XX out loud as siglo XX, which literally means century 20, not siglo XX or century 20th.
All right, we're at the home stretch. Section 5. Let's pull everything together into a quick mental checklist to help you avoid the most common slip-ups. So if you remember nothing else from this, please remember these 3 things. 1. Day before month, always. 2. No capital letters for months or days of the week. And 3. Use the regular counting numbers for the days, with that one single exception for primero, the first. If you can get these right, you're going to sound way more natural and avoid a ton of confusion.
And finally, here's a fantastic vocabulary tip that could save you from some awkward moments. Fecha is the calendar date, like on the wall. Cita, on the other hand, is an appointment, a meeting, or even a romantic date. You have a cita with your doctor, and you have a cita with your crush. The anniversary of that first date, though, that's a fecha. You can see how mixing those two up could get a little weird.
And there you have it. That's our deep dive into Spanish dates. It's really just about unlearning a few old habits and getting used to a system that, frankly, most of the world already uses. So that gets me thinking. Now that you know a fecha from a cita, what other tricky little Spanish rules or false friends have you stumbled across on your language journey?